Donald Trump would demand I be fired for making a joke about his old age and then a day later go out and make a joke about his own old age.
So Jimmy Kimmel just called out Trump's hypocritical double standard on comedy and free speech, and it reveals something much darker about authoritarian control. We're looking at coordinated attacks on comedians, FBI directors, and anyone who dares criticize power. This is textbook authoritarianism disguised as outrage.
Just when you think they've hit peak ridiculous, making a big thing out of this joke, they then top themselves and criminally charge former FBI Director Jim Comey, who Trump doesn't like because he did his job and investigated him.
Comey's investigation uncovered Trump's obstruction during the Russia probe. That's why he was fired in 2017. Now, prosecuting him twice for the same alleged crimes violates double jeopardy principles. This is exactly what happens when justice departments become personal vendetta machines for autocrats.
Charged Comey once with obstruction and with making a false statement, which went nowhere. It got thrown out of court. So now they're charging him again, this time with threatening the president's life for this. This is not a joke. They're charging him with threatening the president's life for this photo of seashells that spell out 8647.
In restaurant slang, 86 means to remove something from the menu. Comey posted seashells spelling 8645, meaning remove the 45th president. Prosecuting someone for arranging seashells is Soviet-level absurdity. This prosecution would be laughed out of any legitimate courtroom.
Trump's pets in the DOJ are claiming this is some kind of threat or call to violence, which even he should be embarrassed by this. Put that back up. That is not a threat. That is a piece of art your aunt with a beach house would buy on Etsy.
The DOJ is supposed to operate independently from the White House. That's basic separation of powers. When prosecutors become political enforcers, you get show trials like Stalin's Soviet Union. Career prosecutors know this case is frivolous, but they're being forced to pursue it anyway.
So last night, America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, rose from the grave to weigh in on the ongoing drama involving me. I have to say, it hurts to be called distasteful by a man who farted his own pants off in front of Borat's daughter.
Giuliani went from America's mayor after 9/11 to a complete laughingstock. In the Borat sequel, he was caught on camera in a hotel room with his hands down his pants with someone he thought was a 15-year-old. His credibility evaporated instantly.
I have to say, it's confusing to be called an incompetent jackass by a man who accidentally held a press conference outside a dildo store, who doesn't seem to have any understanding of when videos are running and when they aren't, and has a gallon of squidding dribbling off the top of his head.
4 Seasons Total Landscaping was peak Giuliani incompetence, booking a press conference at a landscaping company next to a sex shop instead of the 4 Seasons Hotel. Then his hair dye literally melted down his face during another press conference. Pure comedy gold.
Team Trump has been using the attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner to get out of paying for the ballroom. He said would be paid for by private donors as a gift to America, paid partly by him. But now, and this is a classic Trump move, he wants us to pay for it to the tune of $400 million. But keep in mind that even though we would have to pay for it, once the ballroom is finished, none of us will ever be allowed to set foot in it.
This is Trump's classic bait and switch. Remember Mexico was going to pay for the border wall? Instead, taxpayers funded it. He promises private donors will pay, then quietly shifts costs to the public while keeping control. It's a textbook grift masquerading as governance.
And that is why they have no choice but to barricade themselves inside a solid gold drone-proof ballroom. And by the way, I love that Trump put Lindsey in charge of the ballroom push. China and stuff like that. You're going to spend $300 million on China and stuff like that. The only thing Lindsey Graham loves more than war is dinnerware.
Graham's voted for every major military intervention since 2003. Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria. Now he's more excited about China patterns than addressing inflation or healthcare costs. It perfectly captures how disconnected these politicians are from real American struggles.
Does this guy have his finger on the pulse of the average American? All he wants is to cha-cha past the president's bedroom with a Limoges porcelain teacup in his hand.
Limoges porcelain costs hundreds per piece. A single teacup can run $300. Meanwhile, Americans are choosing between groceries and gas. Graham fantasizing about luxury dinnerware while families struggle to pay rent shows exactly why trust in government has collapsed.
And of course, all of this self-inflicted stupidity is it's a distraction from inflation and the price of gas and the grifting and the Trump-Epstein files they claim don't exist.
Classic misdirection strategy. Create manufactured outrage over jokes while real issues fester. Gas prices, inflation, foreign policy disasters get buried under culture war nonsense. It's deliberate. Keep people angry about trivial things so they ignore substantive failures.
And the fact that we are still fighting a war that the president declared we won on the first day. We're now on week 9 of the war. Trump is said to be dissatisfied with the latest proposal from Iran to reopen the strait, but a spokesperson for the White House told the New York Times that the United States will not negotiate through the press.
Remember Bush's Mission Accomplished banner in 2003? We stayed in Iraq for 8 more years. Premature victory declarations are political theater that trap you in endless conflicts. Once you declare victory, admitting the war continues becomes a massive political liability.
The United States negotiates exclusively through unhinged social media posts from the president's toilet in the middle of the night.
Traditional diplomacy involves careful, private negotiations through experienced professionals. Conducting foreign policy via late-night Twitter rants destroys relationships with allies and signals weakness to adversaries. It's the opposite of how serious nations operate internationally.